We were spinning it. It's Rock Chalk Jayhawk in attendance. Day 2 of Big 12 Media Days. Lance Leipold, head coach of Kansas, 5th year in Kansas, kind enough to join us. Coach, great seeing you.
It's great to be with you.
Happy football season. Hopping right in. How was the offseason to get to the point where you're getting ready to start camp?
You know, we're excited. We had some changes, 2 new coordinators. We had 39 seniors that graduated and moved on and added about 26 transfers. So we're excited. It's a new era. We're moving into a new stadium. A lot of good things, and excited to get kicked off in week 0.
And as we all know, and as everyone who follows college football, really the story with your team recently has been your quarterback, Jalen Daniels. Yeah. Got injuries last year, kind of banged up, but when he's healthy, he's as exciting of a player as he is in the conference.
He is, and Jalen's healthy and he's ready to go. I'm excited for him. You know, he's been so loyal to the University of Kansas and what he's done to help us turn our program around. He's ready to go. He's excited. And the thing about him is even when things haven't gone well for him, he's never made an excuse. He's never come in. He's the same guy day in and day out, and he's been such a great leader for our program.
It's amazing last year when you watched, there were so many moments where if a ball bounces this way, it's a different animal. It's this way, that way. It was just unlucky. I don't really know how else to describe it. I hate to call it that, but how much have y'all focused on the margins this year to make sure those things fall in your direction?
Well, you're right, Greg. And we talk, and you guys know from playing and everything that, you know, most games are decided between 3 to 5 plays when you really break it down, and it's such a small difference. And last year in the first half of the season, they did not go our way. And we talk about it all the time. You just don't know when those 3 to 5 plays were. Ours were just happened to be late in ball games where we couldn't get a stop. We turned the ball over. Something happened.
Yeah.
But we stuck together. We persevered through it, and we found a way to finish strong in the season. I'm really proud of that. And we're going to, you know, again, in camp, keep talking situational football and making sure we're at our best when our best is needed.
Coach, the ball didn't bounce your way. You know, we say unlucky the first half of the season, but, you know, end of October, end of November, you were arguably the hottest football team in America. Wins over Iowa State, BYU, Colorado.
You did not want to see them.
You didn't, and it was so exciting to watch. How do you do that on a consistent basis?
Well, I think, you know, we use words like culture and things like that a lot these days in college football. But again, it's what your locker room, your upperclassmen, the things about how you go about it day in and day out. And we told our team back in 21 when we were 2-10, we told them the process was going to remain the same. No matter we win, we lose, it's going to stay consistent. And we did, and I think our players embraced that. And we had upperclassmen that talked about it when, you know, in today's world and outside parties trying to reach kids, doing different things, and they start talking about disgruntlement or a fractured locker room, and our guys would say, no, it's not. And they stuck together. And I'm really proud of our staff and our players for finding a way to put it back on track and play some good football down the stretch.
So when you look at it, you're a program builder. It's just what you've done throughout your career. You go to these programs, you build them up, and you win. As we enter year 5 and where you set and what you set to do in Lawrence, where are you going into year 5 with what this could be?
Well, you know, last year, like you said, first of all, we had higher expectations and we didn't reach those. But it's good to have expectations in Kansas because there weren't any before.
That's right.
And to get there, we want to be a consistent winner. You want to be in bowl games consistently, and that's what we need to do. But in the same breath, as you guys know, anyone can win in this conference, and you saw Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State do that last year. Dave Aranda did it in 21 with his Baylor team. TCU made the college football playoff when they were probably going to be a middle-of-the-pack type team. So anybody can do it. We know this conference is so balanced top to bottom, and you got to be there. But we can be one of those teams if we play our best football.
You, over the course of your college coaching career, and Hall of Fame good. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. You're a Hall of Famer, and deservingly so. But you had great continuity within your staff. We've seen turnover the last couple of years. But like you kind of talked about already, the culture's the same, the schemes are the same, we're going to do what we do. But how do you make sure you don't lose some of that, even though you do have new voices on both sides of the ball?
You know, that's a great question, Greg, because there's point, because I didn't know we had Brian Borland retired as defense coordinator after 18 years of working together. Andy Kolnicki had moved on 2 years ago after 11 years. That's good. But the other part is, you know, and it came to really to my awareness, when you bring in new guys, you get new thoughts and you stimulate. You need to stay to your core. need to stay to what you want to do in your program. But D.K. McDonald joined us a year ago from the Philadelphia Eagles. He had been with Matt Campbell at Toledo and Iowa State. He's done an outstanding job transitioning into the coordinator role, and he brings new thoughts and ideas that get me to think differently as a head coach. And Jeff Grimes did as a coordinator, but now Jim Zabrowski will take over. Jim was with me from Whitewater and Buffalo. He'll do an outstanding job, and I think it's a balance, and it's a balance of keeping core thoughts and beliefs together, but implementing and changing, because we know this game keeps evolving around us.
Coach, your quarterback, Jalen Daniels, you go back to the 22 season and really 23 before he got hurt. I felt like he was one of the best players in the country.
Yeah.
And then last season, there were some ups, some downs, some injuries. What have you seen out of him going back to spring ball and as you head to fall camp?
Oh, I see him at probably the most confident and comfortable he's been in a couple of years. I think last year we never really had the whole receiving core and everybody working together. He didn't go through spring that year with a new coordinator. It took us a while to probably get in rhythm of thought process and what we're doing. But Jalen has never made an excuse, and that's the thing I love about him, is that he doesn't make excuses. He goes about it. I thought he pressed a little bit early in the year, trying to do a little bit more than he really needed to. But I know he's excited, and as you said, I thought he's one of the better players in college football a couple of years ago. And right now he doesn't even really get mentioned in the top in this conference anymore. And I think, as selfishly, of course, for our program, but more importantly for Jalen, I want this to be a special year for the young man because he deserves it.
You had briefly touched on it here at the beginning. I want you to brag on your new stadium. Talk to us about the new yard.
Well, David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium has just gone under, really our phase one. We redid some things in our football facilities area.
But the stadium,
it's going to be special. It's got great sight lines across the board, new premium seating, about $450 million. And I don't know how many other people are, and that's just phase one, guys. So, who's putting that much money in the football, across the country right now other than Kansas? And to think that the University of Kansas would make that investment in football 5 years ago was probably never even on the radar. So Travis Goff, Chancellor Girard have done a great job, and it's going to be exciting to get it kicked off in week 0.
It's going to be awesome. We can't wait to see it. Remember those renderings a couple years ago? Really?
Yeah.
All right. Leipold's got them going. Let's go, baby.
They're building a yard.
Look, there's also something that's coming up this year that I think all of us are college football fans are really fired up about. That's the game against Missouri. And knowing that rivalry is back on the table, one that I grew up with as a Big 12 fan, it's now back. I know it means a lot to your program and a lot to the people in Lawrence and around the state. What does it mean to you?
Well, rivalry games are what makes college football so special and in of itself. And I didn't really realize when I first got to Lawrence that the Kansas-Missouri game was more of a rivalry than Kansas State.
Yeah.
But now with the two teams in conference, we've got to do a better job making that a balanced one in the in-state rivalry. But to go to Columbia this year will be special. I'm sure there's a lot of people on both sides of it. They're going to be fired up, and to see some of these rivalries get renewed is special. And again, will be a great time, and we'll be looking forward to it.
You're right. It's what makes college football college football. We're not going to change that, even with all the changes around the sport. The rivalries still make this great. Lance Leipold, head coach, Kansas coach, so good catching up with you again. August 23rd, you get going early.
Yep.
I mean, you're right out of the gate against Fresno State, so get a little bit of vacation before it's time to play ball.
We got a few more days.
That's it. Get some fishing and hunting. And Lance Leipold, appreciate you making time for us. Kansas Jayhawks with their quarterback and their coach, going to be exciting to watch. Speaking of quarterback and coach, you heard Coach Leipold bring it up, TCU a few years ago. They were the darling of college football.